Hi, I'm Shaken Gaming. You're watching a top 10 breakdown of the spongiest and the squishiest characters in the game currently. With the recent discovery of the formula that calculates damage reduction percentages from the armor values discovered by Nith and Kaifas. Their names are in this description because I probably pronounced them wrong. It is now possible to calculate the total amount of damage each character can take before they face the ground with their eyes shut. In this video, I'm going to show you the 10 most spongy characters and the 10 squishiest, taking into consideration that they are all level 80, they all have gear 11, they have 0 runes because there's so big variance in runes that I don't want to make it more complicated than necessary to look at these numbers. Also, any ability that is used actively in the game is not taken into consideration. So, for example, some of the tanks will be less tanky than they normally are because several of them get armor increases or damage reductions when they taunt. Starting off with the most tanky characters in the game, or those that can take most damage. Here's number 10, Revol, with 81k damage taken before he's dead. Okay, this character isn't in the game yet. Well, he is in the game, but he's not playable. But Mordoon is the 9th most tanky character in the game, with just a little bit higher than Revol, still around 81k damage taken before he's dead. Number 8 of the most tanky characters is General Murdoch. Still no tanks, with 82k damage taken before death. At number 6, we have the big guy Soleus, a healer, on the top 10 of the most tanky characters. This is weird, but nevertheless, that's the case. Soleus, just over 82k damage taken before he dies. Number 6, Kelrian, with 85k damage taken before he dies. Now to move on to the top 5, and they are all tanks. No surprises there. Number 5, Kinley, regarded as one of the most tanky characters in the game normally, but he's not, at least not until he taunts. You also have to consider that every time he gets a turn, he gets 20% health back. That is not part of this calculation. So in reality, in most fights, he will be more tanky than on this list. But with this calculation, he only has 88k damage taken before he dies. Number 4 on the list is Salvador. He can take 95k damage before he dies. In reality, he can take a lot more if he's paired with other Pride members, because then he gets additional bonuses. And if he gets Steel Shell up, it's amazing amounts of damage he can take, but I'm not taking these into consideration. So he's number 4. Moving on to number 3. Little Baddie is the 3rd most tanky character in the game, with 104k damage taken before she dies. This is taking into consideration that she gets an extra 30% health when she's supposed to die. And this brings her up to the 3rd best. Moving on to number 2, we have the big surprise, because I think that most of you would have thought that number 2 would be number 1. So who's number 1? Because Trumgar in this calculation is the 2nd most tanky character in the game. he's able to take just below 110k damage before he dies. Again, if he's able to proc any of his abilities, he is a lot more tanky. But in this calculation he isn't, so he's only number 2. I don't think any of you have guessed number 1, so there's a big surprise here. Looking forward to it. It's coming up now. It's Mega Wheel. Mega Wheel is the most tanky character in the game, with just below 111k damage taken before he dies. He's not that good, as the name suggests, or the damage taken suggests. And the reason why is all the other tanks up there get bonuses to survive longer when they are taunting. Mega Wheel only gets cheat death. He gets no armor percentages or extra health when he dies or anything like that. But he's got a very high amount of health, shield, and armor reductions. Those are quite high, and that's why he's number 1. Moving on to the top 10 squishiest characters. Who can you beat down with a stick and they will die on your first hit? Here they are. Voron is number 10 on the list of the most squishy characters. He can take a total amount of 48.5k damage before he dies. Not a big surprise that he's on the top 10 list, but I reckon most of you would have placed him higher. But here he is, number 10. Number 9 on the list is supposed to be the clan's answer to Solius on the order team, but Solius makes it top 10 on the tanky list. Morta is the 9th easiest character to kill in the game, with just over 48k damage taken before she dies. Not really fair, I think. Poor Morta. Number 8, and the 3rd clan character in a row. It's Hera. She can take just below 48k damage before she dies. Major Shot makes it to the 7th squishiest character in the game. He can take just around 47k damage before he dies. I thought he was tankier, but he's not. He's very easy to kill. And the first order character in the top 10 squishy list, it's Foul at number 6. She can take just over 45k damage before she dies. Halfway on the list, Robin Bad makes number 5 on the list. He can take 44k damage before he dies. I think many would have thought he was higher on the list, but here he is, number 4. Impressive. That was the 2 order characters in the top 10 squishy list. The 8 others are clans. Sergeant Pickwald, the German goblin. He is able to take 43k damage. Then he's dead. At 42k damage taken before death, Corkrim makes it to the 3rd place on the squishy list. He is so easy to kill that it's ridiculous. Kagi, number 2 on the list. Most squishy characters are gone now. I think you don't have a clue on what number 1 is, because all your favorites for number 1 is gone. But Kagi can take just sly of 42k damage before he's dead. And he's a candle in the wind, really. He's got a strong skill set, but his stats are so bad. Surprisingly enough, Rantha is number 1 on the squishy list. She can only take less than 41k damage before she's dead. And I guess this surprises most. It surprised me. She's supposed to be a tanky character, but without the bear, she isn't. She gets a big chunk of resistance to physical and magic damage when the bear is up. But the bear isn't up a lot, because the bear's health scales off Ramtha's health, and Ramtha's health is low. So she's very easy to kill. With a strong skill set, it just destroys the character because her stats are so low. And what makes it even worse, she's the third orc on the squishy list, top 10. Poor orcs, poor clans. 8 out of 10 on the squishy list were clans, and 3 of them orcs. I will be releasing a full list of the the damage each character can take in the game, and release it on BRDC blog one of the days. But for now, this is it. You have to just have fun with the top 10 and the bottom 10 list. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.